Hi guys, my name is Evan and I'm one of your mods from the Literal Lessons Discord, and here I'm back with another draft recap, or I call it a highlight show, and together with me I have Swede.
Hello.
Nice. Then currently we are in our top cut, or some of us call it playoffs, and this is actually we are jumping into the second week of top cut, where we narrow our players to 16, the top 16. Then the matches that we are going to cover, I'm calling this the top 28 because, oh, music's a little loud. I'm calling this the top 28 because because 4 players get buys, and then the other players have to play against each other to fight for spots on the top 16. So the total number of players, as you can see on my screen, is 28. Then excluding the 4 players that have buys, then we have 6 from each group, making it making it 12 matches in total. So we'll be covering 12 matches today. Cool. Pocket and Christ are in chat. Thanks for coming through. So let's just kick it off. On the screen here you will see as usual the matches, and let's cover them one by one. So I think I'll highlight them as we go. I'm gonna skip a bit. Okay, let's talk about the first one. Quite a few of these matches don't have VODs. I would say half of them don't have VODs, so we don't really know what went down, but I have a page that can tell us, like, based on the usage stats that I got from you guys, how the players lead with their mons and which ones they brought in the back, so that can give us a bit of a clue on how the match went. Our first match is the Texas Tornadoes versus the Melbourne Melody, and Lim, the one on the right, is sporting that mono-psychic team, so that's something interesting to see. Whereas Spencer himself also has 2 psychic mons in Mewtwo and Lele, and he chose to bring them in the match after prepping. Then interesting that both sides didn't bring their Gmax mons also.
And interesting that both players brought Tapu Lele, so for that Psychic Terrain.
Yeah, so I think Psychic Terrain, wow, that's interesting because Psychic Terrain boosts the attacks from both the restricted mons, right? Mewtwo and Calyrex. So
they'll both get Expanding Force, yeah.
Yeah, they both get Expanding Force. They also both get Shadow Ball, so it feels like they're just gonna slog it out. And just see who attacks each other, like who does more damage, right? But then we do know that Calyrex Shadow is the faster one and the stronger one as well. Then from the results we see that Spencer got the 2-0. I think maybe he got the speed control right, or maybe he is able to get like more offense with
I think maybe there could be a Scarf on that Mewtwo to help outspeed the Calyrex.
Yeah, and my other guess, right, is that like Mewtwo has an edge over Calyrex in that Mewtwo gets max airstream, so maybe that helped out a bit. Then I think it all comes down to the prep. Then let's take a look at like how they led. From here we see, like in game 1 we have Mewtwo Thunderous versus Calyrex Meowstic. So so it seems like Spencer went for the more offensive lead, with Thunderous being able to Dynamax Thunderous also gets access to foul play, then you can even go for max darkness. Whereas Lim, on the other hand, went for the safer, more conservative lead because Maelstick is there just to set screens. So Spencer seems to have two mons that can immediately dish out damage, whereas Lim only has to rely on the Cataract Shadow to do damage. Yeah, maybe that's what went down. Then in game 2, Spencer went with Mewtwo Umbreon, and then Lim went with the same lead. Then Umbreon is a very good mon to counter Cataract Shadow. Yeah, so I think in terms of leads, Spencer got the upper hand. Yeah, I think that's all we can say for this match. Man, it's unfortunate that we aren't able to get votes from everybody.
Yeah, I think one thing to note was the Arcanine pickup. So really, there's no really physical attackers apart from maybe a Malamar, but then Malamar will probably have the Contrary ability, isn't it? So it would gain, if it got out at the same time as Intimidate, then it would get a +1.
Yeah.
So I was a bit confused as to why the Arcanine came in the end, but maybe it was just for hitting up some snarls and stuff as well, because it does get access to that.
That's a good idea, right? Like if you give Arcanine the Assault Vest, it can be quite bulky. Henry in chat is saying that he has experience with playing using Mewtwo, and then it matches up surprisingly well against Cataract Shadow. Yeah, that's impressive because I think Cataract Shadow is sometimes forced to stick to the spread move of Astral Barrage, and it doesn't do as much damage as what Mewtwo can do. And then I think personally I feel that if you have a Mewtwo, you can just Dynamax it.
Oh yeah. And I think you have slightly better bulk, maybe about the same.
Yeah, I think Mewtwo has better bulk than Cataract, so that's what it has going for it. Yeah, good to know. Okay, let's move on to the next matchup. In Space versus Team. In Space has been uploading his matches consistently, so do check it out. I confess that I haven't watched this match yet because I wanted to just watch it slowly and I didn't have the time. But according to both players, this was a very close match. Swede, have you watched it?
No, I didn't. I've also not had time to watch it as well.
Yeah, but Team said some stuff, right? Let's see how they led. In Space consistently led with Lugia Grimmsnarl. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. With Arcanine and Urshifu in the back, and then at the last game he switched it up to Garchomp. Whereas Team also consistently led with Zamazenta and Togekiss. I think they both had the matchup played out. They have all the flow charts in their head, and I think they have worked it out that this was the best lead for them. Yeah, Team even brings Rotom, Mo, and Urshifu consistently in the back. Only the first game he used Noivern.
Yeah, so maybe it looked like maybe Tim lost the first game, adjusted to bring his Urshifu in, but then won that game, and then so in Space adjusted to bring the Garchomp.
Right, well said. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
I can't see like Zamazenta. I know Zamazenta can do good damage, especially to Dynamax mons. So I think Team just has to try and stall out Lugia's Dynamax and then get someone in the back to Dynamax. Or possibly Team actually Dynamax his Togekiss. This one I'm not sure.
I think the screens from the Grimmsnarl would have been very key here because Zamazenta not getting the attack boost like Zacian does. So it hits the neutral Behemoth bashes as opposed to a +1.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even then with Arcanine in the back, you've got that Intimidate, so you can even just set up the screen and just start spamming Intimidates. And just kind of nullifying Zamazenta doing anything. I mean, it's still going to be fast, whether it was it seems to be more of an offensive set, I would think, if you're going to lead with it alongside a Togekiss. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that match as well, just to see.
same.
I'm always interested to see what Zamazenta can do.
I can foresee that there's like maybe team also intended to Dynamax the wikis and using Super Luck to bypass the screens.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well, actually.
And I do know that like Lugia has access to Max Quick, I think from Earth Power, that does super effective damage to Zamazenta. But then, in front of a Togekiss, I don't think it will just freely Max Quick, right? So, like, I think both players must have adapted to how the opponent plays, and then like played the first few turns differently in each game. Okay.
Yeah, be good to see. Anyway, that's for sure.
But team did say that it was very close, and unfortunate that like team lost in the end. Better luck next time. Okay. The next matchup will be Swede's matchup. But yeah, and I watched it. I didn't watch it live. Yeah, so I watched it I think yesterday. And there was a lot of hacks.
There was, yeah.
I felt quite bad for Eric.
Yeah, I think I got lucky. Was it 3 sleep powder misses?
Yeah, but on hindsight, like it's strange that Eric didn't bring his Gyarados, because Steelix seems to be the biggest threat, right? Yeah, like Steelix hits almost everything on his team for super effective.
Yeah, pretty much. The Tangrowth is okay. The Gyarados, I can't. Well, no, I prepped Thunderfang for Gyarados.
Yeah, that was very good.
And which is maybe in game 3 I should have used it turn 1. Like hopefully it doesn't
to prevent
sleep out of me. Yeah, so I forced him to. He didn't know I had weakness policy in that game 3, so when he brick my Steelix, it was kind of game over at that point. But maybe I could have forced him to break me 1 turn earlier, which would have got me possibly to Oko. Well, not Oko the PZ, but do a lot more damage to the PZ.
Yeah, true. Because both of you know that the opponent is likely going to set screens. And I do see that both of you prep break just to stop.
Yeah, that was. He prepped Tangrowth with brick break and support moves, and I prepped Gallade with brick break and support moves. So there we go. It was an interesting battle of the screens, that was for sure.
And I also felt the LI switch was very sneaky.
Oh yeah. Did I use it in game 1? I can't remember.
You used it in game 1 to protect your Steelix from a baby doll eyes.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. That was. Yeah, because
that really swung the game heavily in your favor. Yeah. I felt that for you, in game 2, like you might have lost because you used your Lapras to set screens, right? Then it got easily countered by a brick break. Then whereas in games 1 and 3, you chose to Dynamax the Steelix, and then like use Mogrum to set the screens instead. Because Mogrum can keep setting screens, except as compared to Lapras, who can only set screens once. So I think maybe you adjusted well, and that helped you. On top
I think I really misplayed game 1 when I took Mogrum in the back, and because it doesn't really offer anything once the opponents are set up, so that was kind of a little misplay there. But I also took the Alcremie as well. I never got to use that, and interesting to know, I think I was the only player that week that didn't take a single S tier or A tier mon.
Oh, interesting.
So I took a big risk in not taking any of my S or A tiers, and it worked out because Steelix and Morgrim really carried me this week.
Yeah, Steelix made quite a big difference. What's your thought process of not bringing Incineroar?
So because he had the I was and the Gyarados, I was debating whether it was worth having and Intimidate. Incineroar doesn't really offer anything much against Eternatus and Grimmsnarl other than Fake Out. And I think it still takes a lot of damage from PZ. So I had the choice between I think I locked in Calyrex, Steelix, Morgrem, and Alcremie, and it was kind of, do I want Pheromosa in? And then I didn't feel comfortable bringing the Pheromosa because I was thinking we need to have a slightly more bulky team if we're going to go up against Intimidates and Umbreon Snarls and Grimmsnarl, and if Pheromosa just goes down in 2 hits anyway. So that's why I went for like the Steelix, and I went for a quite defensive Gallade. There was no speed investment in Gallade at all.
That makes sense.
It was it was max attack, and it had the Focus Sash, so it can still do a bit of damage, which we've seen. It done a lot of damage to that PZ in game.
With the super effective Brick Break. In game 2.
Yeah, it did about 50% to PZ, so that was quite big as well. So just enough attack to take it out.
I think it's quite funny that EV95 also, like, I don't know whether he caught your bluff, but he also didn't bring the Thunderous. So
that was good. I was happy not to see it anyway, that's for sure.
I think I can deduce that maybe his thought process is that Thunderous is very weak to Calyrex, so it's very risky to bring it.
And I was also happy not seeing the Registeel as well.
That's true.
I was kind of, I couldn't really prep for that much because I don't have much against Registeel. So
I think his Registeel is very afraid of your Landorus, and you just happen to not bring it. So
that's a good point.
But then, like, on hindsight, I think having the Registeel next to Tangrowth would help him a lot. Because in the end, most of the mons that he brought into the game were physical mons. Oh well, it didn't happen. But very unfortunate. For you guys who are interested, do check out Swede's VODs on his Twitch. You can see Swede's username in chat, and it was it was such a pain to see, like, Eric, like, struggling in every turn. Then I would say that you can't underestimate in Draft League especially, you cannot underestimate Prankster mons and Prankster Thunderwave, because like, you only have 3 games to play with, and there's a lot of chance that Thunderwave works against you. And then we do see in the match that the Thunderwave really helped Swede a lot.
I'm just pleased I thought of Morgrem in Draft League so late, because when all the screens were gone.
Exactly, that was a very good pickup. And
I expect to see a little bit more of it next Draft League, I think.
And one last thing I want to say is that I feel that the Eternatus has actually one downfall in that it is very fast. So, like, even though it's very bulky, then if the opponent sets up Trick Room, right, then, like, there's no way that, you can make a negative speed Eternatus do well even in Trick Room. Because naturally you will just put mostly in HP and any defense that you choose, right? But then the fact that we cannot, like, escape is that Eternatus is always fast. So that's like a downside of using Eternatus, especially when you cannot Dynamax it. So here we see that the Eternatus, like, falling short. Okay, next up we have Paris and KS Knight Rider. I realize I'm not like mentioning the team names. I think I'll do this. I'll do that, like, from now on. The Maryland Magnemites and the Toronto Topsy Turvy. Notably, Paris didn't change his lineup. This was the same lineup he had last week. Apparently, he didn't really have much time to prep, so it's quite impressive that he got the win. But then my inside info from both players is that it came down to Aerodactyl versus Gyarados endgame. The Gyarados was at 40% health, and then the Aerodactyl missed Rock Slide.
Oh.
And, yeah, so very, very unfortunate. But interesting to see that the game, especially in Game 3, came down to the wire. It was so close. They ended up in a 1v1. So I would say both players must have played quite well. From here we see that KS had a plan, which is very obvious. You can see from the Togetic Slowking lead, right? That his plan was to go Trick Room. So that because you can see in Perry's team that all his mons are fast and they don't like Trick Room. The only thing that can help them out in Trick Room is Indeedee, but then again it's just one Indeedee that dies to 2 hits. So setting up the Calyrex Ice in Trick Room was the plan. Calyrex Ice here. That he brought in the back. Then after Trick Room ends, then Aerodactyl can come in and sweep. So KS had a very standard game plan. And apparently all four players brought the same mons in every game. The only difference is that KS switched it up and then led with Zapdos in game 1. Then I also know that the Charizard was Specs. So
okay.
Yeah, so because Perry's prepared like Klefki with Sunny Day, then he could help Charizard do a lot of damage.
And Charizard was not Gigantamax, so that means it could set its own sun if needed as well.
Oh, very good point, yeah.
And he has the Gmax Venusaur, so that was a good late game option. I think Paris looked like he prepped for stolen out the Dynamax or just hitting hard through not the Dynamax, sorry. Stolen through the Trick Room and just hitting as hard as he can to get the sun up and get Venusaur into end game.
Yeah, I felt that something that Paris did well and adjusted well was that he really managed to stall the Trick Room out. There's a way to stall Trick Room if you see a Togetic and a Slowking lead, right? Because Slowking, honestly, like it has to put all its EVs into defense, then I wouldn't expect Slowking to do much damage, so I would say that's a very passive lead. And then all you gotta do is keep dishing damage slowly and not allowing the opponent to have a free switch into Calyrex Ice. With Charizard on the field, I wouldn't expect like Togetic to just hard switch into Calyrex Ice in the middle of Trick Room. So I think I would say that Paris did well to stall out Trick Room. Yeah, so good on him. And managed to win the game.
It'd be interesting to see because I need to see that match as well because Calyrex does get access to Rock Slide.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Can't remember.
I don't think so though. I've never seen it with Rock Slide.
It's bad that I have that mod and I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it doesn't. And with like the Step Ice move, it should do equal amount of damage to a Charizard, and even to a Gyarados.
Okay, it doesn't get any rock moves, so that's fine.
Okay. But I think the ice move is okay. Then
you hit neutral.
Yeah, KS also had a secret tag, which is once the Togetic goes down, the Calyrex comes in, then his Slowking has Fling. Then you fling this attack boosting berry so that Calyrex can get a +1 in attack and do +3 in attack immediately with the weakness policy and then dish out damage. So I would say that huge. Paris did very well navigating around it. So that's all for this matchup. The next one is our Gatorsburg Rookies versus Ferrum Farfetch, our defending champion Kuribo from our previous official season of Draft League. Then I do know, I think Kuribo didn't stream. I think he went serious mode. Like he didn't want to get distracted, so we don't have a VOD. I'll check with him in the next few days. And I do know that Kuribo prepped very hard with Jiggly. First of all, it's surprising that Guard didn't bring his restricted mon, didn't bring the Zygarde. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do see like because I commented on Absol a lot in my previous stream. I think there's a reason why he brought Absol, because it does 4 times super effective to Lunala, right?
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Then it's also interesting that Kuribo didn't prep Grimmsnarl. Like I can sense from his team lineup, right, that Kuribo knows that all he needs to do is do damage. Yeah, like try and break through Lapras' screens and then just dish out as much damage as possible. Yeah, I felt that was his game plan. Then looking at the mons that they brought, Guard consistently led with Lapras. Oh no, Lapras for the first 2 games, and then didn't bring Lapras anymore. Wow. So Kuribo must have found a way to break through Lapras even though it has screens. Wait, does Salazzle get tricked? I'm not sure. If it does, then you can trick the eject button.
I'll have a quick look. It does not get tricked.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
So I think game 2, what did he lead Kuribo? They laid Lulana, so maybe some sort of spread moves.
Yeah, and maybe getting the Lunala to just go trick room, then to enable the Glastrier in the back.
Oh yeah.
Wow, it's such a dynamic game because every game they led differently, and then they brought like the same ones in the back, but then yeah, it's like in a different sequence. So wow, very interesting.
Luxray looked to be key actually, I think, for Kuribo, because it came in the back twice, and I think it's its only real answer to Lapras.
That makes sense. And then I would expect the Lapras. I would expect the Luxray to be intimidated, because most of the damage output from Guard comes from Rillaboom and Blaziken.
So that would be a big turn 0, because the Rillaboom Blaziken lead into an Intimidate, so they're already at -1 before the game even starts.
Yep. So I think what Kuribo did is that whatever he led with Milotic, then there's a high chance that in game 1 the Milotic easily switches out into Luxray to slow down that Rillaboom. Yeah. I think Guard led with Orbital in turn 1. I think in hopes to imprison the trick room. So I can guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because he didn't take it again after that. So
yeah,
there must be a reason. That it didn't come back. Maybe it didn't do well.
Yeah, but then going to game 3, I think it has to be. It felt like a very tight matchup, and I think both players did their best. And congrats to Kuribo. Came out on top. Now it's very interesting to see like the mons that they didn't bring. I would expect maybe Crobat to just help a bit more, and then Quillfish can also help to intimidate. Oh no, Arcanine already has intimidate, but the worry is that you will always proc Milotics competitive, especially under trick.
Yeah.
Very tricky. Okay, our last matchup. Not last matchup. The last one in this row. We are halfway through. So this is the Baltimore Blazikens, Carter's team, and Romford Typhlosion, Dan Chang's team. And it was a very clean sweep from Dan. And I think he prepped well, came in with a game plan, and I think Carter just got caught by surprise. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. That circuitry did work.
Yeah,
big
I
time.
think Carter didn't put circuitry in his radar, because it's very interesting to see both 2 electric types in Dan's side, right? So I would expect Dan to just bring one of them, but then he actually brought both. And I think circuitry is a very good choice for this week, because circuitry special attack is too high, and it does have access to max star 4 for that Garchomp. Then in game 1, it was the secret was Scarf Bravery, and then Circuitry just Dynamax and went home. Then in game 2 it was
he played it. Yeah.
Wait, what happened? I don't remember.
He just, I think, if I remember right, he just Dynamaxed the Necrozma and swept him in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I think it's weakness policy, right?
Yeah. He went Assurance into Necrozma, proc weakness policy, and then just swept.
Oh, yeah.
Because Regieleki's attack's like 50 or 80 or something low anyway.
Yeah, I think it's 50. So, yeah, it was a very dominant win from Dan's side. So very unfortunate for Carter, and especially having the Yveltal in the team. Like, it's quite sad that he didn't pull through. Even though he had the positive matchup towards the Necrozma. But then maybe that really justifies, right, how Dan brought 2 electric types just to power down and focus on the Yveltal.
Yeah, the Circuitry one-shot it, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
In Dynamax, both Dynamax and
I'm not sure,
Circuitry.
right, if even like Circuitry, right, like even if the Yveltal is Assault Vest, like can he even survive?
It's such a high special attack, isn't it?
Yeah, because personally I've been trying out AV Yveltal. Then Regieleki is still a huge problem. Then Regieleki can easily 2-hit KO even an AV Yveltal. So it shows how strong the Circuitry can even be.
The 2 electric types is also pretty good because if you max one, you can set terrain for the other as well.
True.
So if it does go down, you've got the second one in.
Yeah. Then from Carter's side, his Garchomp really needs to do a lot of work. But then one Garchomp might not be enough.
No. Unfortunately not.
Yay! Sorry I'm a bit late, but Kuribo is in chat. And wait, where? How long ago did we talk about your matchup? Just now only. And thanks for sending in the VOD. Yeah, so I think if any of you are interested, it should go up in the Littleroot Lessons YouTube page sometime soon. Okay, let's see. He's saying that in testing, it was between Luxray and Glastrier that can help make Lapras be very manageable. Makes sense. And Glastrier punches Lapras late game. So long as Trick Room isn't up. Oh.
Yeah, Glastrier gets access to like Smart Strike for super effective, and I think also Seed Bomb as well. So it's got its choice of super effective hits.
I would expect Glastrier to have a fighting move.
It gets close combat,
Smart Strike is not super effective towards Lapras. But I would expect like
of course,
AV Glastrier even. Then and Lapras doesn't have super effective moves to hit Glastrier, so then Glastrier does have the upper hand to dish out super effective damage on Lapras. Yeah, makes sense. See, so yeah, that I think being able to test it out with a friend really helps out a lot. Okay, cool. We are halfway done, and let's go on to the next matchup. Sync was busy, and then he gave the activity win to Les, which is a bad thing because Reshiram is advancing further, and Les is a very respectable player. So unfortunate for the rest of us.
It would have been good to watch Reshiram versus Kieran White as well. Seems a fun matchup.
Yeah, exactly right. Wow, that would be so cool. But I feel that Reshiram does have the better, type advantage against Q.
Yeah, I think overall actually it looked pretty close. I mean, Sync has the Landorus and even the Heatran to completely nullify kind of Reshiram as well.
Wow, true.
And then
both teams
possibly
have very solid cores, I feel.
And then Laz against me anyway, he used the Ditto quite well. He lost that match unfortunately, but he managed to steal a few of my Intimidates and give them back to me.
Yeah.
He likes to, and it also gives out his move. It's really good in Draft League because you can find out their movesets straight away.
Yeah, I feel that watching Les matches, right? He's been trying to scout in the first game using the Ditto to scout sets. Yeah, and then adjusting in games 2 and 3, and I find that it's a very impressive strategy. It's been working well for me. Okay, the next matchup will be the Comfy Cartel versus the Maryland Caracostas. Yen versus Howard, and this seems like a bit of an uphill battle for Solgaleo because it's going up against Groudon. But then I think having Dragapult should help make a difference. I do know that Yen always led with Dragapult Clefable, whereas Howard went with the Lilligant Groudon. So imagine Lilligant in Sun has access to After You, then it can enable Groudon, but then there's always the Clefable on the field. So interesting that the game went both ways. I'm not sure who won game 1 and game 2, but then it was 1-1.
I think I was also interested to see the Torracat come along this week because Dragapult and Solgaleo don't get affected by Intimidate, and that seems to be his only kind of physical threats aside from the possibly Obstagoon, which would have Defiant anyway. So I probably wouldn't have taken Torracat this week.
Yeah, I agree.
If I was Howard, but he got a game, so it'll be interesting to see because I think he did take Torracat all 3 games, so interesting to see how he used it.
Yeah, interesting. I think maybe the Groudon did handle itself well. I was able to potentially stall out Dragapult's Dynamax, and then in the back, Howard prepared Urshifu. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then from here we can also see that Howard adjusted in game 3 and then switched it up to Dusclops and Viperia. But then, with Yen consistently leading Dragapult, I think Dusclops is very risky to lead Dusclops. So maybe that's how Howard lost the game 3.
Yeah, he didn't take his Urshifu as well.
Yeah.
Which seemed key into the Solgaleo and Dragapult. Maybe calling making a read in chat team select, but
yeah, maybe. But then we saw that it didn't pay off. It's quite unfortunate. So congrats to Yen. I think the VOD's with Howard, but he hasn't posted it on YouTube yet. So do look out for it in the next few days. The next matchup will be Ro, our very own Ro, versus Neil. And interesting, it's a battle of the steel types. But Ro managed to win convincingly. I think the prep with Navia paid off.
Yeah, like Ro is also one of 3 people that took both their C tier mons, so Tangrowth and Miltank.
True. In this week, we saw Tangrowth and Tangela coming into a lot of matches.
Right?
I do know that the Miltank didn't step into the battlefield.
Did it not? Oh, okay.
I have a
But
huge.
it prepped it.
Yeah, that's impressive. I have a strong feeling that from here you can see Tangrowth and Blastoise, right? The Tangrowth Blastoise lead, I think he just went Shell Smash. Yeah, because nothing in the opponent's team resists water. Yeah, so even Colossal won't dare to come. Sorry. The other side. Yeah, I see, especially Rhyperior, right? So, yeah, Neil doesn't have a mon that can resist water type attacks because Neil himself doesn't have a water mon.
You're forgetting the Shedinja, Evan.
Yeah, but the problem is what can Shedinja do to a Blastoise, right?
Nothing.
So, RIP, poor Shedinja. Had to stay
Actually, Shedinja wouldn't have been too bad into this matchup.
That's true, right? But
Like,
then, I'm so afraid of the Colossal, if I will.
It doesn't. Colossal doesn't have the rock, so if you can get rid of the Colossal, he doesn't have the G-Max. So
yeah, then you can stall
then the only other thing is the Mimikyu. You have to get through that.
Yeah, you have to get through both the Colossal and the Mimikyu at the same time. Yeah, but I'm very convinced that Ro won with Rage Powder Shell Smash.
Yeah, seems to be the way.
Then can easily bring Dialga in the back. You might not need to Dynamax Blastoise, and you can even give the Dynamax to Dialga.
It was also interesting. He didn't take. Neil didn't go for the Hatterene.
Yeah.
Maybe turn up a Trick Room or something.
I think it's quite unfortunate because Neil does not have redirection, so it's very difficult for him to set the Trick Room. I don't know whether Ro recorded the match because I'm very interested to see how it went down.
He was very excited to me when he won.
Nice. Yeah, I think he worked very hard for it.
He wanted to play me in the next round, but it wasn't going to happen. But
okay.
We're going to have a grudge match if we both win or both lose. I think there's going to be a match between us regardless.
Okay. Oh, that sounds so exciting.
Look forward to that.
Nice. Yeah, look forward to that in Swede's channel. Okay, our next matchup is between the Boston Baltoise and the Cult of Giratina, who does not have a Giratina. Jaybuchi versus Cooper, and this is like one of the more interesting matches because it is Zacian with Sun against Zacian with Rain. Very curious, and sometimes I expect like Venusaur to do very well, because Torkoal is the slower weather setter, so you always have I feel that you can control the weather better. But then here we see the Zacian with Rain pulling through with the wind. Yeah, sadly there's no VOD, but wow, it's so interesting to see how this match actually went down. From the leads we see Purloin and Goodra. So strange, like against a Zacian Kingdra lead with the potential to switch in Polytone, right? Yeah.
Seems quite passive, yeah.
And then I can, in Cooper's team, I think the only mon that Dynamaxes is Kingdra. So, maybe the Kingdra help put in a lot of work. And
yeah, King kind of hits everything for. Yeah, Kingdra hits everything hard in this.
Like super effective moves for
It's got
everyone, right? Yeah, especially with Max Extreme.
Dream and Geyser and oof.
Then
Yeah.
I think to slow down Jeibuchi's Zacian, right? Then all you gotta do is use Max Wormwind in the partner slot. Yeah. And then you always drop attack. I think maybe Jeibuchi could have brought the Primarina. Yeah, even a Hitmon top. Because Primarina can be bulky enough to, at least take one Rillaboom move, and then it resists Kingdra and Polito. But then, I think Cooper's draft, it covers the team well, yeah, especially with the Luxray and the Rillaboom. Yeah, to prepare for Primarina.
Cooper had a game plan. He brought the same 4 mons every time, and
yeah, I think that's a well thought out gameplay.
Yeah. Tornado's Politoed in the back doesn't look to be scary initially, but when you think about it, you're gonna get 100% Hurricane hits from the Tornadoes. Possibly,
that's true.
Or even just if the sun's up, he can just set up a Tailwind and negate the Venusaur speed.
Yeah, that's very true. So I think Cooper has the upper hand in terms of matchup.
Yeah, it looks to be, yeah.
So that shows that his draft pulled through. So good on him, and I think the team really does look very scary to me. Yeah, I think Purloin. If only Purloin. I think Purloin gets Thunder Wave, right? But then you can only Thunder Wave one more. It's not enough.
Yeah, Prankster. Another non-fully evolved Prankster.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Was Morgrim drafted in that group?
I don't.
It doesn't look like. I don't see it.
There's something.
Yeah.
They could have done better.
I know Morgan was drafted one other group, but I think it was Sync. Yeah, Sync had it.
Oh, then that's in the Sword group.
So yeah, so maybe just forgot about Morgan, which is easy to forget.
Morgan is actually way better than Purloin in the C tier.
A little bit more bulky as well, and faster actually.
True. Yeah,
Base
that's a
70.
missed opportunity.
Oh well.
Better, yeah. So these are things that we can bring forward to the next draft league. Learn from our experiences in this one. And yeah, but I think from this matchup screen we can tell how Cooper's game plan helped him win the match. So we have only 2 more matchups to go. This one is between the Dublin Ducklets and the Short Hills Slurpuffs, Shadow Giraffe and Stevie D. Wow, Calyrex Shadow with with Rhyperior, then against Rillaboom and Dragapult. Okay. Let's see how these players led. Sableye, Urshifu Rapid versus Ho-Oh Gallade. Hey, another Gallade.
Hey. Oh, possibly some quick guard shenanigans like I used in my match as well.
Wow, yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's so cool. Then you're always protected from the Sableye.
Yep. And then Ho-Oh can just get max airstream off on a Urshifu. Yeah, it might take
Surging Strikes, right? It's bulky enough to take one.
Yeah, pretty sure you can take one.
Then, at the same time, you just always have to prepare for the fact that Gallade has ally switch. So, that's
has so
very
much,
annoying.
I guess. Yeah, it's ally switch, quick guard. it can pretty much nullify the Sableye if you choose wrong.
I can see that Shadow Giraffe, right? He started with Urshifu, and then he lost, right? Then he's like, okay, I don't want to deal with any ally switch shenanigans. Then he brought the Fire Darmanitan to go for Rock Slide. But it seems like Ho-Oh's bulk really poked through. So, yeah. And then, what's that? A Calyrex? Wait, it was Calyrex Shadow, right?
Yeah, Shadow. It's not
I made a mistake here. It's supposed to be Calyrex Shadow. Let's update it live. So that
it was good. It was funny because his name's Shadow Giraffe, and when it comes to his first pick, he's like, "Yeah, I'll pick Calyrex Shadow."
Oh, true.
But I would have thought, the Sableye. So Gallade would have. I assumed Stevie had something prepped with Gallade for Sableye, but in game 2, Shadow decided to leave Sableye again. But he does have the Indeedee female, which I would have thought offers a little bit more support, especially against the Gallade.
Yeah, true.
Like,
I think it would have been better to lead with Indeedee female.
And then at least then, if Ho-Oh doesn't get much spread options, I don't think. Well, not at least anything as hard hitting as a Astral Barrage or a Glacial Lance anyway.
Yeah.
Or possibly a Heat Wave, I don't know. I don't play much with Ho-Oh.
Ho-Oh
I
is
imagine
generally a physical mon, because it gets access to Sacred Fire. So
yeah, so mostly single target stuff anyway. Yeah, so I think the lead would have possibly helped out Shadow a little bit better here. Allow it maybe the Darmanitan to get an attack off, or even just Indeedee Calyrex Shadow, because that's usually an okay combo as well. And don't know, he didn't seem to attempt it game 2 at least. But
well said. I think it's like I personally don't think like bringing Calyrex Shadow in the back is a good strategy, because Calyrex Shadow is actually very quite frail. And then with
I think
a lot of weakness, 2-4 times weaknesses. To me, it's very difficult to bring in the back.
It's also really difficult if your opponent sets up airstreams as well, because when it comes in, it's not going to be the fastest thing on the field as well, which it wants to be. Which is why you do see a lot turn 1. But yeah, I think well played to Stevie anyway, definitely taking advantage. It seems to be, he's bought the same 4 mons. Whatever his plan was game 1, it clearly worked again in game 2.
Yeah, good game plan, and I think good prep at the same time. It's funny that the Rhyperior didn't come. But then again, it's very difficult for Shadow to set Trick Room.
Yeah, he didn't take a Trick Room on, so maybe he's had it for some sort of bulk. But with Rillaboom, you're struggling there against Terrakion as well. Has access to the EQs and stuff.
Yep, that's true. Alright, our last matchup will be Carl versus Sever. The hands down the closest match of this week. Maybe even the whole draft week. Right. It's very, very close. It came down all the way to the end. Yeah. It's very unfortunate that Carl he played everything well. Then we all don't know that Lapras the burn damage ticks down before Perish Song damage, because it came down to an end game of Yveltal Lapras versus Mamoswine Togetic. Maybe you can see it more clearly here. It was Yveltal Lapras versus Mamoswine Togetic. And then the Togetic is naturally slower than Lapras. So if Lapras sets Aurora Veil, then the Togetic will win. But then the Yveltal came in fresh. So, and then in the early game, Carl used his Weezing to Will-O-Wisp into Yveltal to prevent sleep. Something that you've done before, Swede.
Yep.
Then in the end, Mamoswine was able to hit Yveltal to the red. And unfortunately, Yveltal took the burn damage. So Yveltal died, Mamoswine died, Lapras died, and then Togetic was the last to die, and then Togetic won. Yeah, super close.
I think watching that, it was. I think Carl just failed to realize that Togetic needed to go down. You could have. He didn't know the interaction between the burn and the Perish Song, but it would have. I think he didn't go offensive enough on the Perish Song. I think even clicking Perish Song was possibly the wrong option. He was 3-2, but with that, he had I think it was on like 7 or it was less than 10 HP. I think I know when Yveltal came out, so it was going down to burn, the same burn.
Yeah.
But I think the threat was Togetic, and he didn't hit it enough, or he didn't double into Togetic. But I think Togetic was prepped with Morning Sun as well, so it would be a very bulky mon with regeneration as well.
Yeah, so that's I would say that's good prep on Saber's part. And yeah, Morning Sun is like something you never ever see on a Togetic and a Togekiss, but they really do have that option, and I think it's very interesting to see it in Draft League.
I remember in Mono Draft, my first week, I was normal, I was up against Flying, and they had Togetic, and it would spam Morning Sun, and it was really oppressive to get rid of.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. Personally, I feel that the best way to shut down Togetic is to just status it. Put it to sleep or paralyze it. Because you do know that like 99.9% of the time, Togetic is gonna hold the Eviolite. So, this match was streamed on Carl's channel. All of us went to watch. It was very intense, and I personally felt very agitated watching it because I felt that both sides could have played better. And personally, I helped Carl out. Like I discussed with him a bit on the matchup. I did call the physical Palkia, but I didn't dare to tell Carl that he's definitely going to bring physical Palkia. So I would say that's very interesting prep on Saber's side, and I look forward to Saber's future matches, because his strategy of scarf him on top with physical, like coaching into physical Palkia, I think that's quite scary. It's beatable, but scary because Palkia has very few weaknesses. It's only weak to Fairy and Dragon, so Palkia, boosted Palkia that can max Airstream is very difficult to take down.
Yeah, and Carl didn't have anything that could stop Hitmontop from setting up coachings as well.
Yeah,
I think his actual draft itself. He has the Meowstic male actually. Oh no, that's Saber.
I think he has the Tweki.
Yeah, he didn't bring it.
But yeah, maybe bringing Tweki might actually help, right? Yeah.
Possibly. I don't see. Yeah, I think what actually Carl took was possibly good enough. Maybe he could have considered the Magnezone. But I don't know what.
No, but I don't think so. I think
I don't know what
Magnezone cannot hit the opposing mons for super effect. Especially the
but it doesn't get hit back much from others apart from Hitmontop and which was support anyway, and then
But there's the memo sign though.
Mamo, yeah.
And I think Palkia has access to Max Quick. Even Rillaboom has access to Max Quick. So
Yeah.
very tricky to bring the Magnus.
And Superpower as well. So
Yeah. Okay.
pretty tough matchup.
Looking at all the matchups in as a whole, right? I think you had a good point, like pointing out that some players actually brought their C tier mons and managed to do well. Because I can see that. Wait, am I showing this correctly on the screen? Okay, I have to note that I can only show 3 teams at once. So you can see that players like In Space, Paris, right? Oh yeah, In Space and Paris. Over here, Carter and Dan, bringing all their top mons, relying on their top heavy draft. Then over here, Carl, Shadow, Cooper, Howard, everybody's like bringing their A game. But I would say that if you have drafted well, I think your C tier mons and your B tier mons can also come in handy and help out.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the case now. Now it's into like playoff stage, so so you kind of want, you know, your S tiers and your A tiers are S tier and A tier for a reason, aren't they? They're good. They're good mon. They're good Pokemon that you want. That you can use outside the draft league as well. Whereas where you see like the V tiers and the C tiers, they have like their own little niches. But in a draft league format, then you're not going to see every Pokemon. You're not going to see every Pokemon multiple times unless you're Grimmsnarl against me.
Yeah.
But having just knowing, I think the idea is people would pick possibly C tiers and not know what they do. Which is, it's difficult because we don't play with our C tier mons. I think, like for me, I picked Gallade because I like Gallade and it was open. So, and then Morgrem was literally just me searching on Showdown what Pokemon has prankster screens, and I saw Morgrem. I thought, right, I'm picking that.
I see. I think, then that comes down to when you were drafting, right, back in week 1, like how much value you can get from your C tier and B tier picks. We do have a lot of good examples though, like Spencer. I'm not sure if you use the Persian, then and then
that's a good.
And then we have you. The Morgan really helps so much. And Morgan and Steelix put in so much value. Then,
Morgan, one of my best Pokemon in the draft league. I think.
Kuribo, I think Kuribo used both his B tier mons, Celezzle and Luxray, to very good effect. That's very impressive.
And they're examples of good mons that you could actually use in the ladder, like just normally.
True.
But they kind of restricted by, they have sort of maybe 1 or 2 certain playstyles. They can't really, they're not that flexible enough or bulky enough to kind of survive the evolving meta.
Yeah.
But that was 2 very good pickups, I think, for B tier anyway.
True. Personally, I think there is actually value in bringing your C tier mons into matches, right? As even in playoff matches, because like you said that you rarely see these mons. Like I would go as far to say, like, I rarely see Jinx, I rarely see Tangrowth and even Miltank, right? Then they do pack that element of surprise, and if you're able to pull off your strategy well, I think I would say that's a very valid strategy. Yeah. Personally, I've been enjoying using my B and C tier mons a lot.
Oh yeah, so have I. When I can bring them anyway.
Yeah. Okay, that's all for our recap, and I'm going to pull this up. So these are the players we have, and then this was my tier list, right? This was my tier list, and then I'm very happy to say that I called all the C tier ones correctly, the C tier teams correctly, right?
Oh, you gave him.
Do you see it? Do you see it? It's on screen.
Oh,
it's on stream.
That's the kiss of death that you've given them.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, then I'm very unfortunate for our hosts from Literate Lessons, Carter and Carl. I really think they fought very hard. They had a good run, in Swiss, and then quite sad to go out in the first week of Top Cut. So yeah, better luck next time. And then and at the same time, it's quite sad to see. I mean, sad in inverted commas. Quite sad to see both Evaltor teams drop like this.
That was a big thing in the Discord that just do it now.
So,
And also, Raikou, like you mentioned, Raikou picked up its first loss in the draft league as well.
Oh yeah, I think that came from Carter's team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then so if Jiggly, am I able to put my mouse here? Jiggly will be the only Evaltor team left standing. Then a few other like observations that a lot of the red teams, the shield group teams, didn't pull through, and as expected, the majority of the teams that advanced were the green teams from Crown, and also known as the Group of Death. Four blue teams left, 4 yellow teams left, and then 5 green teams left.
6 and 2 reds. Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5.
You maybe missed yourself,
6.
Evan.
Yeah, 6. Wow, that's a lot. Very tough competition. So, what should I talk about next? Like this is the matchup for next week. Then,
so we did a kind of private draw, but it was done fairly.
oh yeah, I wasn't there. So what happened?
So
It wasn't done fairly.
No, it was done fairly. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to see like that it is done fairly because we started out to seed the lower seeds against the higher seeds, right?
Yeah. So my route for beating a seed 2 was now playing a seed 1.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So we drafted all the 1 seeds first, and then we had 2 seeds and 2 3 seeds. So they also got drafted, and then we drawn the 7 seeds and the 6 seeds, and then the numbers worked out really nicely how the matches turned. So it was really easy to draft. We wanted to make sure that no 2 players from the same group played this round at least. So we managed to do that as well without having to do any sort of redraw or anything. I think we only moved 1 match. We only moved 1 player. We only had kind of moved 2 people, sorry, to switch them about just to make it a bit more. They didn't have to play in the same group. But yeah.
I think it really turned out perfectly. I really like how it came down, and then players from the same group are bound to meet each other, especially after this round. So very excited to see how things shake out.
So myself versus Chasing. So the battle of the Calyrex Ice versus Calyrex Shadow. That'll be interesting as well to prep for.
Yeah. There's so many interesting how would I say, like duos or like how I say that, opposites, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
But
like
Lugia, Ho
Lugia
as well.
versus Ho, yeah. Then the wait, where is the Necrozma?
We have
Oh no,
Necrozma.
it's Lunala versus Necrozma Dusk.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, at the bottom right corner.
that'll be a good match to watch actually as well.
Yeah. Wait, there's one more. Okay, maybe I'll skip to this one where we can see all their mons. Here we go. There's one more like interesting thing that I wanted to point out. I can't see it right now. Yeah, but Lugia and Ho is very like super interesting.
Only
maybe I remembered wrong.
Only one Urshifu I can see as well.
Urshifu. Oh yeah. Wow, the previous round eliminated a lot of Urshifus.
Yeah, it looked like we had a lot of Urshifus and now they've just gone.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting because you'd think Urshifu would be a very strong Pokemon as well.
Yeah, true.
There's two. No, sorry, there's only one. Oh.
There's only one. Then I also want to say that like based on this image, you can see a lot of lions. Yeah. So I think everyone who drafted Necrozma Dusk and Solgaleo got through all the way to the top 16. I know Solgaleo, I know everyone, all the Solgaleo players made it through. Oh no, Neil didn't make it through. Yeah, so it's only me and Yan. And then there's Dan and Poker with the Dust Mains.
So if you want a solid restricted mod in Draft League, guys, pick Solgaleo or Dustmane.
Over Yveltal maybe. But then, I think it's quite unfortunate the way Carl lost. So maybe, yeah, Yveltal could have done better.
Well, we'll see with Jiggly versus Dan. That is a Yveltal versus Duskmane matchup.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that will be one match to watch. The one in the top right corner you can see on your screen. Okay, then the last thing we can cover will be the usage stats that I've updated here on in the tab called Combined Usage Stats. Then let's update the mons that won the most sets. So I will sort it by this column. So we do see that Yveltal is still the the overall leader in terms of wins. Oh, it's being matched with Raikou. Because Raikou also has 12 wins throughout the season up till now. Yeah, so quite sad to see Yveltal not being able to collect more wins. And then we can see that below Yveltal we have Solgaleo being on the rise, slowly but surely climbing, and also has has the same win-loss ratio with Yveltal. So good showing from Solgaleo. Then notably, like the two mons below Solgaleo, both the Cairexes, they have very even performances, even amount of wins and losses. So personally, I feel that this shows the difficulty of using these mons, Calyrex and Calyrex Ice and Shadow, and even Zacian.
I think Zacian's problem is that it's too good. It has to be. You have to have a specific plan against Zacian.
True, because especially in a draft league format, then prepping against a Zacian, you can you can come up with like very good game plans around it.
Yeah,
Then,
I think that's also been the downfall for Kyogre as well, by the look of it, with 4 wins and 9 losses.
Yeah.
If you know you're not going to get a Zacian or a Kyogre, you need to have a specific plan against them, which
And
is
at
why
the
I
same
think
time, like you need to have a good team around that restricted one, right? Yeah. Hey, Poker is coming through saying Lion Gang. Yeah, I'm in the Lion Gang. Let's go. And musical Carl, thanks for subscribing. I think you're my first subscriber. I really appreciate it. Oh, I don't really know what to do. Like subscriber. I don't know whether I made an emote slot though. I put a send through. Yay, affiliate. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, looks to be like a lot of these standard metamons you'd see in the restricted. So there's Kyogres, the Groudons, the Calyrexes. They're all not doing great in the draft format. The Yveltal's obviously a strong one in the ladder and doing very well in here, along with the Solgaleo and Duskmane. A couple of other things like Lugia and Mewtwo look, 4-1, so they're doing quite well as well.
Yeah.
And Reshiram as well. So even though it does go to show you that even with restricted Pokemon, the ones that aren't played so much in the ladder can still do well in a draft format.
Well, very well said. I think it comes down to how flexible they can be. So Yveltal can be a support set, can also be a very offensive set with weakness policy. And then personally, I've experienced that Solgaleo and Necrozma can be either physical or special, because both their offensive stats are very, very high, and it does catch your opponent off guard. Then Lugia and Mewtwo, personally, I think in a draft league format, it's very difficult to prep for, because you really have to focus your attention on that mon, and then that both restricted mons are very bulky. Yeah, and I would say to some extent very flexible. So that's a very good observation there. Yeah, it's very interesting to see all these stats come out week after week. Then enough on the restricted mons. The Gmax and the S tier mons. Well, I think the stats look very standard.
Yeah, they look, the ones that are picked, they're all pretty much picked the most in their tiers. So they've we're getting some updates happening. They're getting sorted out.
I'm switching it so that we see the mons that won the
by
most at the top.
Okay. Yeah, so the ones at the top of these lists are the ones you would look to see. Maybe not the Blastoise actually. The Blastoise you wouldn't see too much of. So that's having a good showing as well in the draft league. S tier looks pretty standard. Indeedee, Thundurus, Incin, Grimmsnarl, Dragapult, which we're starting to see a rise in. Clefairy, Tornadus, Glastrier, which is still strong. Regieleki, all very good mons. A couple of undefeated mons, Cinderace and Venusaur, or it's non-Gmax Venusaur.
Yeah.
So there you go. Only a couple of times taken, but still a couple of wins.
But then we can also see that like every mon does have their own weaknesses, right? Because see, all of these mons, although they have been brought a lot, they don't have very clean win records. So it does show that even the Gmax mons are defeatable. Yeah. Then I just want to say, like, the Colossal, the people who drafted Colossal, they have them in their teams, but like it's kind of a fake out that they don't even bring them into the matches. So I think, right, like maybe through testing they feel that, especially in this closed format of draft league, it's very difficult to even pull off a colossal strat. Well, it just has that weakness, right? That your opponent will always gun it down. Very easy to prep a ground move in your team, and relatively easy to prep a water move as well.
Yeah, that's well said. It kind of suffers from the Zacian, Kyogre, Groudon thing that if you see it, you need a plan for it, and if you have one, then you know that they're going to have a plan for it. So you just don't waste taking. Sometimes it's not even taken in some weeks as well. So you just don't even waste the spot because you know they're going to have a plan for it.
Totally agreed. Yeah. Let's look for mons that are undefeated. Then here, Sylveon's okay. Latios is mine, so I hope to bring it more. Maybe you can see Latios in the next week. Then I think still shoutouts to Raikou for being a very impressive and OP B tier mon. And then I think this week Tangela picked up a few more wins. Oh, are you all seeing Tangela on your screen? Yeah. So good job.
Yeah.
Tangela 8-1, that's very impressive really. Sadly, it's not a clean record. Then I think Bronzong is here thanks to Pocket. Pocket, if you're still in chat, good job. Pulling Bronzong all the way. And Tweki. Tweki and Persian. Oh, Persian. I think Persian is the only Spencer has it. Yeah, I really love Spencer's team. I'm so impressed with its performance because like it's deeply like etched in me that I ranked Spencer's team at interesting in the lowest tier, and then it's really performing very well, and I think Spencer is using Mewtwo very well.
I think Persian, it looks to be, I don't think he's taken it too much like actually into the game, so it looks to be some sort of maybe special backup.
Yeah, or maybe just like insurance to use fake out.
Like yeah, you have the fake out pressure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think this win-loss doesn't really reflect like very clearly because I can't possibly like collect everyone's stats for every game like to see which game you won. So I think Persian just being on the team maybe helped out. Yeah, interesting. But then we know that Persian was brought to one game, so hopefully it did pull his weight. Going down the list, yeah, not a lot of others because I won't mention those that win 2-0, I guess. Yeah, but then something that's popping out a lot is the mons that lose a lot. Yeah, here on the screen you have Gudra. In B tier we have Gudra and Jellison. So very bad showing, quite unfortunate. Losing way more than winning. And then in the A tier we have Volcarona and maybe Suicune and Rhyperior. Yeah, it's quite sad.
Yeah,
I think Rhyperior has the same syndrome as Colossal and Kyogre, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is a scary Pokemon to face.
No, I mean like, but then it's very easy to prep for them, especially in draft league.
Yeah. Any water or grass move, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So okay.
It might take 2 hits, but yeah. I think one other key point. In C tier, Gallade was 0-4 before this week. So thanks to myself and Stevie D.
Here we go.
Both taking Gallade this week. It was my first week using Gallade, and Stevie D I think is his second or third.
Yeah.
Both pulling out the win, so we're off. Gallade is off the board for the season.
Impressive.
Finally.
Maybe you can
going 2-0 this week.
Maybe in the next few weeks you can push that win ratio up, but it will be a huge task because you have to.
We'll see. We'll see if I take it this week.
Personally, I think it's very tricky to use Gallade.
Yeah.
But then we do see over here that Gallade is the most used mon C tier, which it's not surprising to me because of Gallade's extremely deep move pool. Yeah, and I feel that it's quite impressive that you guys were able to pull off wins with Galit this week. Very nice.
And yeah, ditto as well. So 2 and 6. So that's pretty. Like you would like ditto. You would think is a very good Pokemon for C tier, because you can.
Okay.
It's basically any Pokemon, so you can just essentially have it as another restricted one. But yeah, going 2 and 6 seems to be.
Yeah, but like I said last week, I
Mm.
personally feel that Ditto is a very difficult one to use correctly. So yeah, but do watch out for Les. I think he uses Ditto very well. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more impressive performances with Ditto. Yeah, nice. That's about it. If you guys want to check out this spreadsheet, because it's always updated, then the link will be, if you're watching on YouTube, it will be in the description below. If not, you guys can find it in our Discord server. I really enjoy coming out with all these stats, and then especially you can talk about it with a friend, right? So that's about it. Yeah, so next week, the stakes are high. I mean, as always, but we are finally down to our top 16. So we have a proper bracket, and very excited to see all the matches play out and really make the best team win. Personally, I haven't prepped for my match yet. It's already Tuesday. Now it's Tuesday evening for you guys, so I'll be doing that next. Because I've been keeping myself busy with all these stats.
I think every match is a good looking match anyway. So definitely getting to the business end now of the draft league. So good luck to everyone. I hope if you face me, you lose. To Hacks. Please miss 3 sleep powders.
Yeah. So
I'm playing a Venusaur, so maybe it can happen again.
Oh, true. There's some intense plot armor. Like, imagine, wow, I don't know what Steelix ate that day, but dodging 2 sleep powders in a row is really very, it feels very devastating to do that. I calculated though, it's a 6% chance to dodge 2 sleep powders in a row. Then,
so 6%, it happens 100% of the time.
Crazy. But yeah, like you said, I think all these teams, we have really, these teams have really gone through a lot, and then all our players are very well versed with their teams up to this stage. So it's going to be very interesting going forward. So I think that's all we have, and tune in again next week. Thanks for watching. And thanks for coming through on Twitch. And thanks for joining me too, Swede.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Evan.